I've seen that movie. But yeah, I think with chimps entering the Stone Age, we get to take the next step forward, and whatever had taken the next step forward has gone off to, like I said, colonize another planet. They got this technology,
right?
And what we got was them leaving it behind for us, just like what the chimps are going to get when they get to that point is the blueprints for a VTEC motor and the
but
blueprints.
We didn't even get that. So here's my other problem with that theory.
But we did.
But we didn't. But look,
because if they're digging this stuff up,
but we don't have blueprints. All they gave us was a Mazda Miata and the keys in the ignition and half a tank of gas.
Okay. But we're able to leave that behind for somebody else. We're able to help the chimps because obviously, and stay with me on this, obviously the chimps aren't as smart as we are yet.
Right.
And we aren't as smart as whatever was before us, if there was something before us.
Right. So
it seems like the backside of a bell curve.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting dumber and dumber and dumber.
Right.
Which makes you wonder how smart the first civilization was.
Right.
But maybe that's why. They didn't give us this stuff because we can figure it out. We're leaving blueprints behind for whoever's next because maybe they can't.
Well, so here's the thing. Those 9 craft survived somehow, which means their tech was adequate enough to survive through whatever apocalyptic harvest or event happened.
Right.
Which means there was
Ice Age meteor event.
So that means that there was no reason for them to bail.
What if they're meteors? What if they were the meteors that killed the dinosaurs and it was the aliens coming down and populating the planet with people?
See, and that's the thing that I was thinking.
Seeds.
9 ships is
a fucking armada.
Well, for their advancement, yeah, it may as well be. I mean, it'd be the same thing as us rolling into, 19 or 1800s, New York or London with a bunch of fucking M1 Abrams, We may as well be untouchable gods.
Yeah.
We would be such a significantly advanced force, it wouldn't fucking make a difference what they threw at us. What are they going to do, shoot a pepper box pistol at us and scratch our paint?
Yeah. So
what makes more sense to me, those 9 craft, depending on how they were found, if they were equidistant and spread across the globe instead of all parked in one location, makes more sense to be management. Makes more sense that what if the planet was seeded?
Yeah, see, and that's what I feel like. Because I mean, what's his name? Fucking Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
He thinks that
old Ray.
He thinks that we're a zoo.
Yeah.
He thinks we're a vacation destination. More so like, hey honey, let's zip over and watch Manhattan for the night.
Yeah, in the sports model.
Right, in the sports model, and then zip back to our planet. I think we are a zoo. I have a little bit different take on it. I think that there was a planet of cats. There was a planet of dogs, a planet of,
right,
piranha, a planet of whale, a planet of humans, a planet of chimps, a planet of iguanas, like all these different animals. And they were put on our planet as a zoo, as a holding pattern, because this was the planet that could sustain all of the life.
Okay.
So this is the one that could hold everything, and this is the one that could support all of that stuff.
So you think we're a petri dish, like a test tube? Like let's throw all this shit down there and see what it does.
I think the planet was selected because this is the one that can sustain all of the life. This is the one that has all of the elements that these other planets need to survive.
Right.
So it all goes here. So in my hypothetical here, there's a planet out there that can sustain human life, but only human life. It can't sustain animal life. It can't sustain plant life. It can only sustain human life.
Okay.
And they took seeds, they took people from that planet and put them on Earth because Earth can sustain that.
Right.
But it's also terraformed, so it can sustain plant life. And it's got water. It can sustain aquatic life, and it can sustain all these other types of life. And we're a zoo. We are a test facility that's sitting here for them to come by and be like, "Hey, look at what the people are doing. Isn't that adorable?"
Right. Well, people freak out. So terraforming people always imagine like Stargate SG-1 or Stargate Atlantis when they
I'm constantly imagining it.
yeah, I mean all day, every day. So people think
Is that Richard Dean Anderson?
In the SG-1 original, yes. I can't remember the dude from Atlantis. Atlantis was my favorite.
Future MacGyver.
So one of my favorite actors actually played young MacGyver. It was never mind. It's bad. Jared Padalecki played young MacGyver. It lasted 6 episodes and they fucking shit canned the show.
Yeah.
Good actor, bad
choice.
Bad show choice. So anyways, where was I? Oh, terraforming.
Yeah.
So we terraform now on a much smaller and less dramatic scale. And people don't really think of it as terraforming. Farming is terraforming.
Right.
Dry farming is pretty much what it all used to be. And there's a couple of farms locally that do still dry farm, but they seed. You know, so there is still a little bit of like grand design going on in that.
Right. It's still you're waiting for nature to take its course. Those
Exactly.
are the guys that say pray for rain.
Anytime you plant something in the ground and you had to modify the soil. So say you go and get potting soil from your local Ace Hardware.
Right.
And you mix that into your topsoil.
You're changing the chemical makeup of the soil.
Exactly. It's not flashy as shooting rockets down at a ice cap to melt the ice caps and get liquid water on a planet again. Like Musk wanted to do on Mars.
Right.
You're not fracking with a nuke, but you're terraforming. You're changing terra firma, Earth, to sustain a design that you are envisioning that it did not.
That's something almost exclusively for people.
Right. That's not something that monkeys do. Monkeys don't plant.
Or like even something that's allegedly as if it consciously evolved alongside of us, like octopi.
Right.
Octopuses. They don't.
It's a James Bond movie in there somewhere.
Wait a second. I'm almost there. I think I'm only a couple steps away. They don't change their environment. They change to match their environment.
Or they change their location to find an environment that suits them.
But they don't change their environment. Their environment is pretty strict. They can't.
Right.
Just like we can't get in the water and survive forever. They can't get on land and survive forever.
Yet.
Huh. What does that mean though? I mean, not the yet part, but
right.
Like, why do we have to change our environment? Why can't we change to adapt to our environment?
So that's the fun thing. So humans, we're one of the only species on Earth that recognize our own mortality.
Right. But we're also like top of the food chain. We're like apex predators.
But still, I mean, it's either depression and strife are constant no matter what. They scale with your problems. So a Harvard law student could have the same level of depression and anxiety that a Fortune 500 company owner who brings home the kids' annual, debt
right.
in as profit each year. But his problem, because his latte machine doesn't work, could be just as stressful to him as that kid's car getting repossessed. All that stuff scales. So what do humans do? They look for ways to comfort themselves and to make their living situation better. Because evolution is slow. You're right. So say there's a plant in our environment that is incredibly poisonous to us. There's a couple of trees. There's a garden called the Garden of Death. I think it's in Hawaii. But it's a garden literally full of plants.
Sounds fucking metal.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool. There's a tree that if you touch the sap, it's so incredibly toxic. It's got a neurotoxin in the sap. It'll kill you.
What's the one that makes you kill yourself because it hurts so much?
Oh, it's a stinging plant.
Like
I can't remember.
Stinging nettle or some shit
yes.
like that?
It's a neurotoxin as well. It acts on your nerve endings.
Yeah.
It essentially cooks
like
them.
Fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and if it goes through your bloodstream, so it's not like it stays, like if you touch it with the tip of your finger, it's not like it stays in the tip of your finger and you can cut off the tip of your finger.
Spreads through your body.
Until you essentially
kill
go
yourself.
Brain dead or kill yourself. So, instead of us taking generations and generations and generations and generations, I mean, this could happen over the span of 30, 40, 50 generations of humans.
It's just a long fucking time when you consider, like,
what's easier?
200 years ago, like the start of the nation.
Right. What's easier? Do we build a fire and burn the plants that are killing us and terraform our environment to make it more hospitable for us? Or do we sit there and let that tree kill us off until we finally make the one golden child who is then immune to that stinging nettle.
And then breed him with everybody else.
Which then we're getting into eugenics. Then we're turning into, 1940s Germany, looking for people who have stronger traits, people who can breathe harder and faster and run at altitude for longer and stuff like that. So while
rather than do all that fucking morally
compromised stuff, we'll just burn the area with Agent Orange and napalm until it's good enough to drop cabbage in, and then we'll just fucking live off of cabbage instead of having to deal with a plant that stings us until we want to kill ourselves.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Is that an evolutionary trait or is that an evolutionary backdraw?
I think it's hubris. I think it's us thinking that
we should control our environment.
Exactly. Instead of working in conjunction with our environment, because there's over-farming right now. I mean, the Dust Bowl back in the, 30s?
Yeah, right after the Great Depression.
Yeah, so that was caused by over-farming. People overworked the soil instead of letting it sit, and then places like East Texas got high windstorms, and the grass that was on the plains there for thousands and thousands and thousands a year holding the topsoil down, the nutrient-rich topsoil down, strong breeze comes through, and all of a sudden you're getting sandblasted.
Right.
There's people that actually died. They had called it dirt lung. It was essentially
valley fever.
You breathed in dirt and dust until your lungs solidified from the silica content in the dirt.
Yeah.
Literally called dirt lung. They had better names for shit back in the day.
They fucking did. Well, that's when you had ghosts in
your
blood.
It was like consumption. And
right. Well, that was just tuberculosis, but tuberculosis isn't as much fun to say as consumption.
And then there was like the devil's lung. And like the back, like they had fucking like metal ass names for stuff back in the day. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. Why doesn't medicine have cool shit? Now it's like, oh, you've got TB. Boring as shit. Yeah. Also, fuck you. That sucks.
Osteoporosis?
Yeah.
No, you have glass bone.
Exactly.
Way fucking cooler.
He's got the bird touch.
Right? Way fucking cooler. All right, well, shit, dog. That was some time right there. That's almost an hour.
Already?
54 minutes, 59 seconds.
I feel like we just started to get into it.
I know. Well, fuck, we'll do it again then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do this. We'll definitely do this again. Anything you want to say before we go?
Subscribe to the Patreon to get more awesome content like this and more.
Yes.
Plug. Hype.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this, you're on Patreon. Appreciate it. Thank you. Right there. Yeah, and right there.
Sorry I didn't pay more cam service to you guys.
Nah, it's not about cam service. I get it.
Because my name's Cameron.
Yeah, I think I neglected to mention that at the beginning.
Well, I mean, if you don't know me by now, it's probably for the best.
All right, yeah, man, fucking. I think that's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Peace out. Look into the demon core.
This has been another presentation from Super Network.